welcome to Football on 5 for the very best of the weekend's action from the Sky Bet Championship and Leagues 1 and 2 as some beasts of the EFL go head-to-head.
And we don't mean these two, well, not Lee anyway. Former Aston Villa playmaker Hendrie joins former Brighton enforcer Adam Virgo. I'm sure you had a cultured side as well, Adam. Well qualified. Between them, they have played for 11 current EFL clubs. Here's what's coming up. Two of the Championship's top three are perhaps not ones you'd have predicted. We'll see if Huddersfield and Barnsley could maintain their momentum.
Leeds won't want to be looking up at their Yorkshire rivals for long, but would Cardiff get the rob of the green against them today?
And it's fired back in by Goodison. The post rattled again.
And two more famous old names desperate to rise up the table. Ipswich and Aston Villa met at Portman Road. Yes, if the Championship summit has a somewhat surprising look to it, then the midweek action involving the top teams was also unexpected.
Yeah, Barnsley thrashed Wolves at Molineux with a late 4-goal rampage. A rare error from the Huddersfield goalkeeper Danny Ward saw the leaders come unstuck against Brighton. And have a look at this. Newcastle hit QPR for 6 at Loftus Road to move within a point of Huddersfield.
A brilliant strike by John Joe Shelvey on what was Rangers' biggest ever home league defeat. So perhaps the last thing they wanted after that was to face the leaders. And that's where we start our look at the top three.
Question marks over how both these teams might react to Tuesday's results. Would QPR's self-esteem be beyond repair? And could Huddersfield bounce back from their first league defeat? Casey Palmer took just 14 minutes to answer that on the end of a perfectly weighted cross from Rajiv van La Parra, as the leaders appeared unaffected by the narrow loss at Brighton and continued to make the running. Necky Wells testing Alex Smithies, neither knowing at that point the striker had been flagged offside. Huddersfield's home record remains impeccable, well on course to make it 4 wins from 4 at the John Smith Stadium, when Tom Smith spotted Elias Kashunga loitering with intent. None of those fans can remember a start to a season like this. It's the club's best at this level for 64 years. And though summer signing Idrissa Silla offered Rangers a glimmer of hope within 3 minutes of coming off the bench, nothing was going to upset the table toppers.
Having collapsed at home against Barnsley on Tuesday, Walter Zenga said Wolves had to restore honour at Newcastle. The players took him at his word. Jundali Bolvashan, one of several to come close during a spirited start. After 5 straight wins and averaging 3 goals a game, Newcastle could hardly have been bigger favourites for this one. When Jose Perez forced the great save out of Carla Kime, it seemed they would soon be back to their best. But Rafa's rotation policy is the one thing that sometimes gets the Magpies in a spin. One of 3 changes to the side that scored 6 at QPR was the inclusion of defender Chancel Mbemba. His own goal was the moment that changed this game. Things might have been even worse. As half-time approached, Mo Diame, another man returning to the 11, was late on Matt Doherty. Referee Tim Robinson decided a yellow card was sufficient, and Diame had the half-time break to compose himself. Not that the interval did Newcastle much good. Wolves continued to outplay their hosts in the second half. Helder Costa's goal helped confirm their first league win at Newcastle in 25 years. A third defeat of the season for the Magpies, who ended the game with 10 men. Red-carded for a lunge on Ivan Cavallero. Vernon Anita will sit the next one out. Ironically, he's one of the few players that hasn't been rotated so far.
Barnsley were brimming with confidence off the back of their remarkable success at Molineux and very clearly keen to pick up where they left off. The ferocity of Ryan Kent's early effort had Reading keeper Ali El-Habsi clutching at thin air. But it wouldn't be long before the Reds' perfect home record was on the line. Gareth McCleary playing in John Swift, who was more than happy to make use of Adam Davies's outstretched leg. The goalkeeper rectified his mistake, but couldn't stop the follow-up as McCleary breathed a big sigh of relief. Now Yapstam's men took control of the contest, with Swift allowed to advance on goal unchallenged. Never a good idea given the youngster's talent. Barnsley in big trouble, but even at 2 down, Paul Heckingbottom's free scoring side couldn't be counted out, especially after Conor Hurahan's foul on Danny Williams prompted a furious response from McCleary. Referee David Coote took a dim view of the winger getting involved, leaving Reading a man light with that lead to defend for the best part of an hour. No surprise that the home side upped the tempo, and with 9 minutes to go, Barnsley set up what was sure to be a lively finale. Adam Armstrong's tremendous volley had the Oakwell crowd at full volume for the final push, eager for their side to maintain their momentum. The 10-man Royals remained resolute, stifling the danger until suddenly Josh Scowen got a glimpse of goal. And Al Habsi just enough of a touch to secure successive away wins for Reading. Barnsley beaten.
Yeah, Barnsley will hope, at least, that's just a blip. Huddersfield march on. Lee, that result at Newcastle, bearing in mind the respective results going into the game, where did Wolves pull that from?
It shocked me, to be honest. Like you say, after the midweek, Palaver being 4-0 down, I mean, I know it was late on with Barnsley, but, I mean, to think that they're going to go to Newcastle, I think they'd have been happy with a point, to be honest. But to come away with, well, worthy winners by the looks of it, they've had some good chances, and you know, you've got to take your hats off to them, and teams can beat teams in this league, and that's what's happening.
Let's have a look at the goals. Some awful defending, Adam, from Newcastle. Very much self-inflicted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be a feature this season where you just see away at QPR, they were absolutely first class, but you see when Huddersfield came to Newcastle that teams will now raise their game against Newcastle, and you can see Rafa Benitez is trying to keep a big squad very, very happy with rotation. And they're poor goals to concede today, and listen, I think they're certainly still the team to beat this year. The quality that they've signed, the money that they've got behind them, but maybe their home form could work against them because it's a long season. And for me, this is what the Championship's all about, 6-0, and then you lose 2-0.
Every time Newcastle pull out a result like that, we think, actually, yeah, the bookie's got it right, they're going to walk this. And then something like that happens.
Again, you know, just going off the back of what, you know, what you're saying, I mean, teams are going to go to Newcastle. It's a big stage. It's a cup final for some of these teams. Wolves are a big club, there's no doubt about it, but you know, to come away 2-0 today, you'd think, like you're saying, Newcastle look like they're going to go and storm this league. It's not going to happen this season.
We've paid due respect to Huddersfield and the brilliant start that they've had, Adam. When do we start saying, actually, how long can they stay there?
It was interesting because when they went to Brighton, I thought they were a little bit defensive, and I think they showed Brighton a little bit too much respect during the midweek, and they're going to rely on their home record. It was just interesting to see their reaction today against a QPR side that were wounded against Newcastle, but strong at home with the fitness that they've got in their side. They're still going to be strong contenders for the top 10, I think.
You're flying high. We'll leave that there. Newcastle back down to earth again. We'll move to the other end of the table now. Leeds United and Cardiff City have shared a rivalry for many years. And another thing they may not agree on right now is which of the two sets of fans is the most unhappy. They can both make a compelling case.
Yeah, that's fair enough. As they kicked off in South Wales this lunchtime, Leeds were 18th, Cardiff in the bottom three. Commentary of this one from Gary Birtles and Gary Weaver.
So a change in formation then from Paul Trollope. He did try two formations in pre-season, the 3-5-2 which he started the campaign with, and this 4-3-3 as well. This is Hernandez looking for Dallas. Fighting ball in from Dallas. Ben Amos looked a little concerned.
Get the ball in the box with quality. You have players who can attack it. This time there's only one white shirt in the box, one loitering on the end. They've got to show more ambition, I think.
Wolves have made the run. Another Cardiff City corner.
I think he could have gone with his right foot there and just couldn't have thrown away and not a corner.
He knew what he was taking on when he walked through the doors of Ellen Road. He knew the scrutiny he'd be under, the constant questions about his future if he lost a couple of games. In that respect, he hasn't been disappointed. Ailing trying to keep a watch on Connolly. Goes through that kind of area as well, and the header looked to have clipped the post. It was Morrison who rose. Rob Green diving across to his left. He may just have got a touch on that. But no matter what, Leeds United have survived.
Well, he is a big threat, Morrison, 6'4". Jumps all his height here. Great downward header.
Well, that's sloppy from Connolly, and this is Pablo Hernandez. Ben Amos called into action.
Cannot afford to make mistakes like that. Schoolboy errors. It's what cost you, trying to be too clever. So sloppy.
There's Whittingham. He's hassled into a mistake, and that's Sacco, Hernandez, and this now is Chris Wood. Straight down the throat of Ben Amos. But in the blink of an eye, Leeds United were away.
This is superb. That's where you do your inventiveness. There, look at that challenge, puts him off. Don't know if they've got a deflection.
Plenty of movement inside the penalty area. He's almost dropped there to Ricky Lambert. And it's fired back in by Gunnarsson. The post rattled again. Cardiff City piling the pressure on that Leeds United goal. That's twice they've hit the woodwork. Lambert makes his move round the back now. It's arrow towards Ricky Lambert, and the target is found. Rob Green and Janssen between them get the job done.
Ooh, he's offside, isn't he? And that ball's played. The assistant's right in line as well, doesn't give it.
Nicely done by Ronaldo Vieira, player who was really excited Gary Monk ever since Gary Monk took charge of Leeds United in the summer. Hernandez with the corner. This player goes down inside the box, and it's swept away at the near post by Noon.
Talking about being blocked off again. Now, he does well there initially to hook that back in. He's not going to go there, Wood, at the referee, saying, I think that's a foul. Maybe outside the box. It's given.
On topic at the moment, what's happening inside the penalty areas from set pieces. Janssen goes down this time, penalty given. Well, he didn't give the first one, but he was adamant, Graham Scott, that that was a foul, and Leeds United have a penalty.
Now then, there's the shirt pulling all over the place. There's the arm round the neck. That's a penalty. That's a great decision by the referee.
Chris Wood picked his spot and found it. And Leeds United get what they were looking for. They hit the front here and put Cardiff City in big, big trouble again.
A lot of pressure on Chris Wood there. He knew it. How important this game is to both teams. But that's what 4 goals so far does for you. Gives you confidence to do that.
Now the break could be on here. It's Hernandez who has Wood away to his right. Cardiff City try to steam back here. Hernandez, all about the right decision,
Wow.
and maybe he didn't make the right decision.
That's a shocking decision. It really is. That is so selfish. Look at this now. He's taken a great position up, just coming into your picture there. Just lay him in. Gap there. Goes for goal, goes for glory. The chance has gone, and Chris Wood absolutely furious. Every right to be.
There goes Hernandez again. This now is Sacco, and Ben Amos down smartly.
Good goalkeeping. Covers that near post, as you should do. It's easy to forget about it at times because you think the player might go across you. He takes it early as well.
This is Hernandez. He made the right decision that time, and in style. Leeds United are loving their day out in the Welsh capital. The sun is shining on them, but the storm clouds are rolling in over Cardiff City.
That's a magnificent finish in any league in world football, this. Ben Amos has got no chance whatsoever. Runs directly and commits defenders. Gets a little bit of whip on it. And that is a sensational finish. Look at that.
We've had a few of these this season, which is both frustrating and disappointing. Obviously disappointing with the result after we felt controlling large parts of it and hitting the woodwork a couple of times. And I think obviously the pivotal moment with the penalty decision changed the game.
Another step forward today, a good result, back-to-back wins, a clean sheet, 4 goals in the 2 games. So no, we've shown a lot of improvement and a lot of hard work as well. Good determination today. Not
disputing it was a penalty, but I think if you look at most corners or set plays, there's a large element of tugging and pulling, and a lot of penalties could have been given this afternoon.
We won't get too overjoyed by the results. We try and keep working, and now we have momentum is to try and keep hold of that as best as possible and look forward to going back on the pitch.
So back-to-back league wins for Leeds to ease the pressure on Gary Monk a bit there. Paul Trollope, though, talking about the grappling that led to the penalty, Adam. We saw this last week with the Ipswich game. The referee let them get away with it at this point. Leeds appealing for this. I mean, so they were warnings.
He's got a good view of that as well.
I mean, he gave the early warning that he could give a penalty for shirt pulling.
And this is just seconds later.
Yeah, I mean, he's got this one right, and I don't think Matty Connolly can have any complaints about that. He's got his arm over his shoulder. I'm just worried it's going to ruin the game. Over the course of the season, so many decisions are going to be given where managers are going to be saying, was it really much of a shirt pull or anything? There is going to be contact, but when you've got your arm over someone's shoulder, you know, you can't be doing that.
You didn't used to be a defender, did you?
I was a sub.
Are you glad they're clamping down on it, though, Lee?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of that last season, and, you know, I think he's given him his warning there, and it was literally minutes before. And straight after it, he's gone and done that. I mean, a Cardiff struggling team at the moment, things happen like that. I think I'm glad to see that things like that are coming into the game, and going to see more penalties.
But what a sweet goal that was from Pablo Hernandez to seal
Leeds,
the victory for Leeds. Absolutely. OK, join us after the break. We'll have lots more from the Sky Bet Championship.
Including Lee's old team, Aston Villa. Another of the day's enticing games saw them go to Ipswich.
Welcome back. Two more games that leapt off the page were Wigan against Fulham and Nottingham Forest versus Norwich.
Yes, the Canaries were up to 4th before kick-off after a midweek win over Wigan.
Progressing well under Philippe Montagnier, Forest were defending a 100% home record here, but they were reliant upon goalkeeper Vladimir Stojkovic in the early part of this game. His save had already denied Robbie Brady the opener, when Norwich rewarded a 34th-minute penalty. Was Houlihan tempting an ill-considered challenge from Nicolau Dumitru Cardozo. Houlihan spotted the ball, but found himself outwitted by Stojkovic. A real boost for Forest, who took full advantage within minutes. They secured a half-time lead when Eric Lehigh found a novel way to assist on a goal for Apostolos Velios, his third in 3 matches. But Forest haven't won their first 4 home games of a league season since 1984. And it seems that old habits die hard. Jacob Murphy kept Stojkovic busy as Norwich mounted a second-half recovery. He also delivered the corner, from which Johnny Howson levelled the score shortly after the break. Forest still without a clean sheet this season. The first of a quick-fire double, Norwich then took the lead within 4 minutes. Forest's first home defeat of the season, arriving thanks to Graham Doran's strike. A third consecutive victory for Alex Neil and the Canaries, who are now up to 2nd in the table.
I thought we had a real good team performance, you know, and I questioned them at half-time in terms of how much desire have we got to go and turn it round. And I thought they answered all the questions and more, so I can't be any more sort of praising of my team.
Fulham came to the DW not having lost to Wigan in the league in almost 10 years. They had the better of the first half, summer signing Niskin's Cabano's drive, pushed clear by Adam Bogdan. And the Congolese midfielder was involved again when he found Chris Martin. But the Derby loanee's overhead kick was just wide. Wigan's run of 15 games without a win against Fulham is the longest against any team, and Nick Powell had the chance to bring it to an end late on. His shot was tipped over. The Latics, though, have their first point in a month.
All these teams, remember, played midweek as well. Alex Neil telling Norwich that the target was end the week with 6 points, and bingo, that's what they did. And what a goal from Dorrans to win it.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's come through a crowd of players, but, you know, he's just, obviously it's just set up so nicely for him. He's just gone on a great strike with the right foot. I mean, keeper's got no chance.
He doesn't see it.
No, he can't see a thing. I think Norwich will be up there this season. They've got the experience of being in the Championship.
Do you think having teams like Newcastle, like Villa, albeit they're struggling at the moment, having them in the Championship sharpens up teams like Norwich? You know, we've got to win pretty much every game.
They remind me to Burnley to a certain extent, that they've got a good squad of players that even when they drop down into the Championship, you always felt that there was the quality in that squad there. And Alex got them playing well. He's got good, you know, selection to play for. And I feel them and Newcastle will be the teams to finish above.
You mentioned Aston Villa, and our next Sky Bet Championship action features Villa, who, rather than 17th, would have been just 1 point off the top if they hadn't conceded so many late goals.
Yeah, I suppose you can get stats to back up any point you want to make, but have a look at these. Quite interesting, I think. 85, 86, 87, 88. Those facts speak for themselves. Without those goals, the net effect would be a 7-point swing for Villa. Others would be worse off, of course. And Roberto Di Matteo's side, well, they'd be right up there.
Yeah, new chairman Tony Gia has been expressing his frustration about this on Twitter this week, and to his credit, I guess, asked for some constructive suggestions from the fans. One replied, hire a sports psychologist, or at least bring one in for a while. Alternatively, don't ask us. There's a reason we don't make these decisions for a living.
He loves social media, doesn't he? It's a fair point, actually, that last one, I guess. Anyway, let's have a look at the game today. Villa were hoping to to keep it going, I should say, for the full 90 minutes. At Ipswich Town, their opponent, and the commentary comes from Paul Walker.
This is Jordan Amavi. Kodja waiting for the cross, just behind him, and swept away by Freddie Sears. And Brett Pittman has given the ball back to Aston Villa. This is Bakuna. Berra scuffs it away, kept alive. Amavi shooting chance, possibly here, and right across the face of goal. Amavi flashes his shot right across the goal mouth. Mick McCarthy said in his news conference yesterday that every game against Aston Villa, whoever's involved will always be a sexy fixture. Only Mick can come out with quotes like that. Hoisted long, only half away. Pittman takes it early, and Galini got a glove to it. Poor clearance from Bakuna. Oh, the back pass is a little short. Ayu's round the goalkeeper. Can he finish it? Oh, Webster recovers the situation for Ipswich Town. That is an almighty let-off for Ipswich. Bielkowski put in a very pressurised situation there by a terrible back pass to him. And it does feel like they could be playing until 10 o'clock tonight and still not score. Best rising. Varney is always sniffing for half a chance. Best goes down rather theatrically, but he has got the free kick. Well, Tommy Elphick's reaction tells you that he certainly does not agree with this one. I think there is contact, actually. He's claiming he got the ball. If there was contact, it was minimal, but contact nonetheless. Sears over the wall! And just wide. I thought it was in. So did many of the crowd behind that goal. Just arcs away from goal. Took a slight nick on its way through. And goes the corner, and a header off the line by Jonathan Kodja, who might just have saved Villa right at the end. It's an excellent header towards goal as well from Leon Best, I think it was. What an entrance that would have been, but Jonathan Kodja in just the right place. Skews down the middle, Best, and now Varney. Is he bundled over by Richards? Well, he is, according to the referee. Didn't think there was a great deal in it, you know. Sears, it's a better one that time, and Galini has to tip it away. And Galini flies across his line. Sears with a corner, Barra's header. Leon Best teeing up Skew, stands it up, and it's off the line. Two goal line clearances right at the end of the game. Sears, promise here. Varney is waiting in the middle. Ward's in there as well. It's Sears! He's hit the post. Well, this is the big moment of the game. Freddie Sears uses Micah Richards as a screen to curl it round.
Nice quote from you in the programme notes today where you said, we haven't got the best team, but I've got the best team of lads.
I mean, that's subjective, that's my opinion, of course. Yeah. But my opinion counts here at this club, so others might look at it. But if anybody's got a better team of lads, a better squad that work hard and stick together and look after each other, and a really good guys as well, then congratulations, because you've got a really good team.
It's a big job. It's a big job. When I came in, you know, everybody was low, the morale was low, and the confidence was very low too. And I don't know how long it will take, but it's a long-term issue that you have to resolve. It's not a short-term one.
One of those matches, I think, where you'd actually rather sit through the whole Mick McCarthy interview rather than see the highlights of it back again.
Let's not dwell too much on that.
We won't dwell too much on the game, Lee. It was pretty rubbish, in all honesty. Aston Villa, 5 draws out of their first 8 games in this division. They would have anticipated a heck of a lot more, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. I think that they took the draw today by the looks of that performance. You know, Ipswich looked like they had them penned in at times. But I think, you know, this season, you know, he's just said it there himself. It's a building process at Villa at the moment. You know, you think the last 4 seasons they've been absolutely abysmal. They really
almost turned again at the end here.
Yeah,
as we were looking.
And the thing is, you know, they've had 2 cleared off the line there. This might be the turning point for Villa. You know, I think today, by the looks of it, they should have come away with, you know, a defeat. But you know, they've got a big game the weekend against Newcastle, who are flying high as well. You know, 2 ex-Premier League clubs. I just think that he's got to sort that. It's a long-term thing here. He's got to get the whole foundation back to where it was. The new signings have got to gel. And I really think something's going to happen at Villa. You know, I wouldn't write them off ending up being in that playoff situation, because it's just a run of results.
Will they get out of this league and straight back up? And would it be a failure if they didn't do it first time?
I don't think so, no. I think, you know, like I said, going back from the past seasons, it is certainly building and getting the right structure of what he wants in that team. And he's brought his new signings in. I think once they get a little bit of momentum, get a few wins under the belt, confidence is a massive thing in this league.
What do you think about the way the owner's interacting with the fans on Twitter? How would you feel as a player? Is that more pressure?
I love it. Well, Doug Ellis never did that, I'll tell you that. No, no, it's great. I mean, it's great that he cares about the club, and I think the fans will love that. You know, it's a family club. You know, last year with the previous chairman, he didn't get involved, and this new man, I like it. I like his style.
Doug Ellis on social media there's a thought for us all. Stay with us for more Sky Bet Championship action featuring Sheffield Wednesday's visit to Birmingham. Another good-looking match as the Owls went for 3 wins on the spin. Hello there, welcome back to Football on 5. Let's have a look at the meeting of 2 more big names in the Sky Bet Championship.
Yeah, Birmingham City against Sheffield Wednesday was the late kick-off today. The Blues keeping pace with the leaders, while the Owls have won 2 in a row after maybe suffering a hangover from last May's playoff final defeat. Commentary from Danny Higginbottom and Daniel Mann.
Wednesday in their change strip today. Backed by a voluble band of around 2,000 who've made the trip to South Yorkshire and certainly not struggling to make their voices heard. It's Fletcher, and now an opportunity for Forestieri, who's not offside, and Legstins produces an excellent save to deny it.
It's a fantastic save from Legstins, just trying to play out from the back there. Birmingham, they have to be careful. Sheffield Wednesday pressing quite high against them. Forestieri, he should be putting that in the back of the net from that area.
That's Leeds. Fletcher, adroit use of the ball. Bannon, now reach. Up against Spector, he's got it in there. Abdi's header. Oh, the chances are coming.
And it's once again from the wide areas. Sheffield Wednesday getting down the side, using the width really well and getting some fantastic crosses in.
And he will have a little more financial clout to play with soon, won't he, with the
takeover by investors from Hong Kong, set to go through in the middle of October. A company clearly with high ambitions. Trillion Trophy Asia, they're called. Don't mind just a few. Donaldson, that was nice. Magoma, Davis. Oh, what a vital intervention.
It's great build-up. It's a fantastic run initially from Donaldson, but then the run from Magoma to go on the inside of him and nobody picks him up. The ball just gets played to Chavins. He wants it. He wants the 1-2. And Louvens comes in well late, and there's no question about it. That is a foul. He's trying to play the ball here. Look at the referee's position there. He's looking directly at him. He can see everything. And in my opinion, that is a penalty.
Now Magoma. Shuffled away from goal, it's Gleeson. Oh, that could be useful. And Keefton Bell just drifting in behind there. Glorious ball by Gleeson. Not for the first time today.
First touch just takes it away from him too much, and it was always going to be a tight angle.
Fletcher. Oh, and Hooper's in here. Can he finish? He's done it again. The match winner at St Andrews last season may have ensured Wednesday take another 3 points north with them.
This is absolutely outstanding forward play from Fletcher. He slips, he still manages to get up and then back heels it to Hooper, who's clearly onside. Shotton's playing him on, and it's a great finish as well. Like I say, when his ball comes up to Fletcher, to be able to get up so quickly and then have the presence of mind to play the ball in behind, absolutely brilliant.
Here's Stewart. Donaldson! Now then, definitely a penalty this time. No debate whatsoever. Clayton Donaldson wins it. The question will be, will he take it? It is a yellow for Kieran Westwood.
You can see from Westwood's reaction, no doubt about it. Great play from Donaldson, great strength. Westwood comes out in that situation. Does he need to come out in that situation? But once he does, he's committed himself, and he knows straight away that it's a penalty.
Pressure penalty then. Scored 2, missed 2 from the spot, Clayton Donaldson. People have cottoned on to the fact he likes to go down the middle. But he finds the net. And Birmingham City on terms. The penalty fortunes go his way. And Sheffield Wednesday's joy cut short in 4 minutes.
Well, very cool and calm. And as you said, he's not lost his nerve. He's gone straight down the middle again. And Westwood's dive to his right.
4 added minutes. Palmer. 4 in the area for Wednesday. Newhugh! Well, the crossbar still reverberating, but here come Wednesday again. Foot in from grounds. Jukovic. Magoma. Donaldson is down on the far side. Stewart. Oh, twists and turns. Retains his foothold. Magoma. Jukovic! Winner! Lucas Jukovic has done it for Birmingham City! What an amazing sequence of action! At one end, Newhugh so close. At the other end, time seemed to stand still for a moment. And Lucas Jukovic headed home.
Well, this is fantastic link-up play between the two substitutes. They work it so well. You see the ball played in, he's clearly onside. And Jukovic, he just gets enough on the ball to actually get it up. And that is an outstanding header. How quickly football and fortunes change. This is a great header from Newhugh. Hits the bar, and then within no time, it's down the other end. Birmingham take the lead.
When Hooper scored, you just felt this is going to be a tough one to come back from. And we don't actually come back that many times from being a goal down. We usually score first. So that was an even bigger victory today for us, and it probably felt even sweeter.
We must give it congratulations to Birmingham, but in my opinion, don't win the team that did more and much more to win the game tonight. But championship is like this.
Jukovic with his first goal since May 2014. The last one he scored against Birmingham, but late drama, Adam, at the end of that match. Sheffield Wednesday could have won it with Newhugh rattling the bar.
I mean, it was a fascinating final fling towards the game, and you see Stuart, when he gets the ball back, he actually slips, and that creates a bit of space, and he makes the overlap, and there's just a gap when the ball comes in, and that's when you want Jukovic on the shoulders. I think Cardiff will be disappointed with the defending, but take nothing away from the header at that time of the game. Not prolific with his goal-scoring record, Jukovic, and to score at that time of the game was a big blow for Sheffield Wednesday.
OK, well, stay with us for more action from the Sky Bet Championship. Could bottom side Blackburn break their winless duck against Rotherham? Welcome back to Football on 5. Blackburn Rovers were winless and bottom going into today's home game against Rotherham. Owen Coyle, the Rovers manager, bemoaning his side's recent look. Would it turn for them today? George is going to take a look with Adam and show us the jacket in all its glory.
Thank you very much for the loan, Lynsey, by the way. Yeah, they've had a rocky start to the season, haven't they, Blackburn Rovers? The manager, Owen Coyle, said his is the ultimate responsibility. When you're a fan of a club and you see the team struggling, you want to see the players taking responsibility. Did you see that today?
Well, I saw good reactions when they went the goal behind, and this is still a worry for me, the way that Rotherham played on the counter-attack, and Brown and Ward were arguably their best players, but the defending early in that first half was very, very poor. But then you're talking about a reaction from the players. You go 1-0 down away from home early on, all of a sudden you can go into your shells. But for me, Conway was by far the best player to date, and that is an absolutely wonderful strike past Lee Camp. And
his third of the season, joint top scorer.
And Sam Gallagher hits his own bar here, and he had a good game as well. The work rate, I felt, was better than Rotherham's, and this was a difference between the two sides. Good movement in that final third. Gallagher comes short, Conway, and comes to the edge of the box, and that's a really great finish. I mean, you have to question Rotherham's defending. You really, really do. I think Alan Stubbs will have a sleepless night tonight. You come back in just after half-time, and you just see how deep the back four are when Marshall comes in on his left foot. You can't allow that much time. You need to be coming out and closing the ball down. And then for me, that was, I thought, was game over. But credit to Rotherham, they did try and get themselves back. But again,
well, this would have been game.
Yeah, I mean, Gallagher hit the bar here on the right side of the right side this time. But credit to Alan Stubbs' side, he made a couple of substitutions. Frecklington come on. Kelly with a great cross, and Danny Ward, he deserved this goal because he worked tirelessly up front on his own. When you don't get a lot of service, but he kept going and going and going, and then towards the end...
Great header from that angle as well.
Yeah, and it was, and you look at Kelvin Wilson's experience, he'll be very, very disappointed with that. But you do worry about Rotherham's away record, losing 4-0 to Barnsley, 3-0 to Brighton, 3-0 to Villa, conceding plenty of goals away from home. Listen, I still think Owen Coyle's got a lot of work to do defensively.
Well, he said they could have scored 7 or 8 today.
They could have done, but they've still got, I think, a long, long way to go. And I don't think today's win will paper over the cracks of what's happened already this season.
Well, this was Coyle's first victory as Rovers manager. Let's hear from the two managers.
The good thing today is that when you're performing well and not getting points, and of course you can think, well, I've performed, why are we not getting the points? When you get the points to go in the back of it, that obviously breeds that confidence. And then there's an understanding of, how the process works. Well, if we continue to perform like that, then we'll pick up the points. And that's what we did today.
When you can see the goal, there's more often than not, sometimes it can be an individual thing. But, with us, it's 2-3 mistakes that are leading to it, which can't happen. I'm afraid it just can't happen at this level.
Yeah, you've got to go back to the 70s to find Rotherham's last victory at Ewood Park. A victory for Blackburn today, which they needed. But looking at the two sides, do you see their respective struggles persisting this season?
Be careful what I say about Rotherham, because I had them to go down last year and they turned it round brilliantly. I do fear away from home, and I know they've got Huddersfield and Norwich away to coming up, and they're tough away games, and I think Alan Stubbs has got a very, very difficult job on his hands. And I think the same with Blackburn. I think there's still trouble within the club. The owners don't really get to a lot of the games, and I question Owen Coyle's appointment in the first place. Didn't have a really good time in the MLS, and he's come over. But I think they're tough seasons ahead for both sides, of course.
Well, Blackburn at least can enjoy this victory for
definitely.
this weekend. Lynsey.
Thanks, George. Let's complete the championship picture for you now. Derby's continuing quest for a goal in a moment, but first Brentford versus Preston. The Bees are upwardly mobile after an away win at Brighton last week and a late equaliser at Villa Park on Wednesday.
The visits of an off-colour Preston to Griffin Park gave Brentford a real chance to capitalise on those away results. The missed opportunities isn't something you'd associate with them at home, certainly not Scott Hogan, whose opener had a real touch of class about it. Harley Dean is a less regular scorer, but this was to be his day too. His first goal since November 2014 suggested it would be an afternoon to remember for the Bees. Nobody would enjoy it more than Hogan. His second of the match sparked a complete collapse from Preston, who let in 3 in as many minutes as the final whistle approached. Tensions between the fans and Simon Grayson were bad enough without this. Preston's heaviest defeat in over a decade. Chris Humphrey's own goal made it 4-0. Moments later, Hogan completed his hat-trick. Much of his Bees' career has been lost to injury, but he's certainly making up for lost time. It's now 13 goals in his last 12 league matches.
Derby will take any help they can get on the goal-scoring front, so Aidan Flint's inadvertent assist was more than welcome. Ikechianya doubling the Rams' tally for the entire season just before the break at Bristol City, who wanted to show manager Lee Johnson they can handle the pressure after some tough talking following the midweek collapse at Sheffield Wednesday. Lee Tomlin tried hard, but was still down on his luck, having missed a penalty at Hillsborough. With the match well into the final 10 minutes, it fell to Darren Bent to kill things off for Derby, but Frank Fielding's smart stop made all the difference to the final outcome. As deep into stoppage time, teenage hotshot Tammy Abraham did well to free Bobby Reid, and a striker at the other end of his career cleaned up. 36-year-old Aaron Wilbraham saving the day for City. The first ever league meeting of these two Albions was dominated by the version from Brighton and Hove. Burton thankful the ref saw nothing wrong with Tom Flanagan's tackle on Anthony Knockaert. Nigel Clough's team was severely depleted by bans and injuries, but they still managed to conjure up the best chance of the first half against the run of play. David Stockdale sharp to deny Jackson Irvine. In the second half, Brighton continued to press for their first away win of the season. Lewis Dunk closest to breaking Burton's resistance, before the mercurial Knockaert provided the required inspiration late in the day, biding his time so that Yuri Skalak could overtake and get a shove in the back from Lee Williamson. 2 minutes remaining, so some serious pressure for Tomer Hemed. The Israeli characteristically composed with the decisive penalty.
Here's what it all means then. Brighton, there they are, staying 7th. Huddersfield are now 2 points clear thanks to their victory over Queen's Park Rangers. Norwich are up to 2nd, while Newcastle, Barnsley and Birmingham are just 2 points further back. Brentford are up to 6th.
And at the other end of the table, 4 straight defeats means Cardiff are now bottom on goal difference. Blackburn's first win of the season sees them move off the foot of the table, and Wigan complete the relegation places. So finally, Derby get their second goal, but Brentford, as George said, up to 5th. They're unbeaten in 8 at home, topping off a great 7 days for them, Lee. But what a day for Scott Hogan, and even more incredible when you think how long he's been out injured.
Yeah, it's great when players have, they've been out and they come back, and the hunger. You can see the hunger in it. I mean, his reactions there just for that goal. I mean, he looks like a player that's been out of action and he wants to get. He's got that grit between his teeth. Brentford, they just look superb at home. I really think that these boys could be the surprise package this year. They play some great stuff, and they're scoring goals, and that's key in this league.
He's made just 16 league appearances for Brentford. That's 13 goals now. If he stays fit, how good can he be? Well,
you want to keep key players fit, and that's vital. I mean, 3 games in a week, and he's getting on the score sheet. He's fantastic, but. With long-term injuries, you've just got to be careful. It's a long season ahead, and there's plenty of games to play in this league. And if they can keep him fit, you've got a goal scorer on your hands, and that's what you need.
Where do you think Brentford are going to finish this season, Adam? I know you don't want to get into predictions,
but
go on then.
These predictions, I just asked Christian Alumu, they're not good. I think they'll do OK this year, mid-table for me.
Not playoffs?
No.
OK. Well, stay with us for Goal Rush from Sky Bet. Leagues 1 and 2 featuring table toppers Bolton and Plymouth Argyle, who face Exeter with South Devon pride at stake.
Hello, welcome to Goal Rush on Football on 5, and we'll start in Sky Bet League One, where unbeaten Bolton led the way.
Yep, today they travel to Walsall, who were hoping to win for the first time since the opening day.
Bolton would never expect an easy ride despite Walsall's stuttering start to the season. But the early signs suggested it could be a rough one when Chris Taylor was elbowed by Walsall midfielder Joe Edwards, and referee Trevor Kettle produced the fastest red card of the day. But the 10 men didn't retreat into their shell. 9 minutes later they had the lead. Kieran Morris's free kick missed by Bolton goalkeeper Mark Howard. Jason McCarthy took advantage. Thereafter it was almost one-way traffic in a one-man show. The leaders forcing the pace, creating chance after chance, but defied by man of the match Neil Etheridge. This save from Jamie Proctor, typical. And Bolton's frustration was only compounded when they too finished the match with 10 men. Substitute Keshi Anderson was shown a second yellow for a stoppage time foul on Scott Laird. Their first league defeat of the season means they're off the top.
I believe in this group of players. I believe that they'll go on and be a really good team. And I think you can show today that the work ethic that they've got, they deserve that today. And I thought they got the just rewards for putting a hell of a shift in.
Conceded a bad goal after the sending off. We had chances in the first half. We hit the crossbar. Procky's had a 1v1 and lost our way a little bit towards the break. And in the second half, I felt we did everything we could to try and get back in the game. And the goalkeepers pulled off 2 or 3 world-class saves, and just wasn't to be.
Victory for Scunthorpe at Shrewsbury would give the visitors their best start to a season since 1957. The only goal of the game coming on the stroke of half-time with David Murphin heading in Jordan Clark's free kick. That means Scunthorpe go top of the table, a point clear of Bolton.
Rochdale came into this game without a league win, but they only had to wait 10 minutes for Matty Lund to give them the lead from a Donald McDermott cross. That's Lund's first in the league this season. But they were up against a Fleetwood side unbeaten in their last 4 in league and cup, and striker Chris Long, who scored 3 in 3, was brought down by Harrison McGahey. Bobby Grant equalising against his old side with his first goal of this campaign. Keith Hill's side were made to wait till the 85th minute for the chance to register their first league win. It came courtesy of a Joe Bunny cross, headed in by substitute Steve Davis. Rochdale are off the bottom.
You've heard of poor weather, floodlight failure or even fan disturbance causing a delay to play. But how about a drone flying over the ground? Well, that's what led to Bradford City's home game with Bristol Rovers being suspended for 5 minutes in the second half. It was goalless until then, but the deadlock was broken soon afterwards. Mark Marshall's cross-come shot took a deflection, and it fell straight into the path of James Meredith, who headed home his first goal in almost exactly a year to give the Bantams a 1-0 lead. But despite being near the bottom of the league, Rovers are a stubborn team away from home, and they grabbed a goal with just 4 minutes to go. Charlie Colcott with the emphatic finish to make it Bradford 1, Bristol Rovers 1.
Sheffield United made an uncertain start to the season, but now seem to be getting things right under Chris Wilder. Playing Matt Doan in his preferred position of striker is one such positive step. Having not scored since January, this is Doan's second goal in 2 games. With Peterborough experiencing an off day, it was enough for the Blades' 4th straight win.
Southend had only won one of their last 10 home league games as they prepared to host 5th place Millwall at Roots Hall. But if the Shrimpers faithful were worried, they needn't have been, as the home side took the lead on just 6 minutes. Jermaine McGlashan did well to find David Mooney, who finished nicely for his first league goal of the season. But within half an hour, Millwall were level. Sean Williams' long ball, Steve Morrison's knockdown, and Aidan O'Brien made it 1-1 with his 3rd league strike this campaign. Southend's last win in front of their own fans prior to today was at the end of March, but they had the advantage again shortly after the interval when Stephen McLaughlin reacted well to score his 4th goal of the season. And then with 3 minutes left, Southend wrapped up the points with a 3rd goal. Luke O'Neill on target for Phil Brown's side to move them out of the bottom 4 with just their 2nd win this term.
Amazing scenes at Bradford there. A drone stopping play temporarily.
That's such a 2016 reason for postponement.
It is. It's a first in the EFL, hopefully the last time as well. But what a result for Walsall as well. 20th going into the game against Bolton, who were the league leaders, unbeaten at the start of the day. But to do it, Lee, with 10 men for about 70-odd minutes as well. What did you make of the sending off when Joe Edwards was sent off in the 16th minute?
To be honest with you, looking at it, it looks a little bit harsh from what I've seen. I mean, there doesn't look a lot in it. You know, it's a clash, a sort of clash of a challenge. I mean, they've showed a lot of character to go the whole game through that. I mean, the goal there, the keeper has come out. I think he's seen some of his family and waved to him, sort of thing. I mean, you know, straight away they get a goal. That momentum gives them another lift. To be fair, for a long period of the game, I think they had the backs against the wall, but main thing was the result and the 3 points, and a fantastic result against Bolton.
And you've got experience of this because you were sent off yourself today, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I didn't see the rest of the game, to be honest. 2 yellow cards for me, no elbows.
Were they definite yellows?
I can't really tackle, so I'll probably say yeah, I suppose they were.
John Whitney actually said it united us, Adam. It had the opposite effect and resulted in a great atmosphere. That sometimes happens, doesn't it?
Sometimes when you have your backs against the walls and you're struggling for form, they've lost Hendrie and Bradshaw, and they're big players for them, and a disappointment of last season as well. So sometimes a result like that can really change fortunes for you.
Absolutely, and Bolton's unbeaten run at an end. OK, next up for you, we've got the 2 lowest scoring sides in the division. Don't go anywhere, though, because there are other games as well.
Yes, between them, Coventry and Oldham had managed just 7 goals in 14 games before today.
Given that record, no prizes for guessing how this game panned out. Coventry have the worst shots-to-goal ratio in the division. Not hard to see why after Marcus Tudgay's free header. Oldham have never won here in the league, but the closest they came to taking the lead was when Brian Wilson's cross was met by a Lee Irwin volley, denied by the bar. A pretty dour game could have been settled again by Tudgay, but Tony Mowbray's side are still waiting for a league win this season.
We have to try and resolve the final third issue, really, the decision-making in the final third. Somebody who's desperate just to score a goal, and then you put them games 1-0, put them in the bag and take the points and move on. And at the moment, we haven't got that.
Coventry 0, Oldham 0 felt like it, but truly nothing lasts forever. Northampton's record-breaking unbeaten league run had to end somewhere, but not many thought it would be at Chesterfield. That changed when Connor Wilkinson put them ahead. Boli Ariyibi almost made it 2 for the Spirites, who had come into this game on the back of 3 defeats from 4 winless games. A far cry from Northampton's 31 league games without defeat, but that run was in real danger once Wilkinson had his second. The Cobblers host Manchester United in the Cup on Wednesday. It's tempting to suggest that may have affected their focus here. In fairness, they did threaten a second-half comeback, thanks to Paul Anderson's volley. But a first league defeat of 2016 was confirmed soon afterwards. The flag staying down for Dion Donohue's first goal in the Football League.
Unbeaten in 5 and playing a team in the bottom 4, Charlton showed every sign of enjoying their first London derby of the season, because they were ahead after just 8 minutes. Fredrik Ulvestad's pass found Ademola Lookman, and his trickery was too much for the Wimbledon defence. Charlton dominated the first half, but their missed chances came back to haunt them in the second. First, Dominic Polian's nimble feet and eye for goal had the home defence in a spin and brought Wimbledon level. That's his 5th in 4 games. Charlton had been warned, but wasteful in attack, they became even more negligent in defence. 5 minutes from time, Russell Slade's side were caught out again. Barry Fuller's deep cross could have been measured for Tyrone Barnett to flick in his first goal for the club. The visitors had their first away win at this level since Reformation.
Victory for Bury over Swindon at the county ground would give David Flitcroft's visitors 3 straight League One wins, and they couldn't have wished for a better start. 13 minutes gone, Tom Pope's header was saved, but former Everton trainee Hallam Hope reacted quickest to make it 1-0. Swindon were then left furious over a disallowed goal. Sean Murray's shot was deflected in by Jonathan Obika. It was ruled out, though, by linesman Mark Griffiths. Referee Charles Breakspear instead going back on his earlier decision and awarding a free kick to Bury. Then, on the stroke of half-time, Bury were given a gift from the Swindon defence. A sloppy pass gave Hope a half chance, and although he still had plenty to do, he kept his cool to slot home his second goal of the game. Midway through the second half, Swindon did claw back a consolation through a beaker, but it wasn't enough to claim any points. Bury move up to third with that victory.
You couldn't fault either of these two sides for effort and opportunities in their first competitive meeting. Oxford came closest to an early breakthrough. Liam Sercombe's cross met by Wes Thomas, but David Martin stood his ground. The chances kept on coming, but nothing was getting past the goalkeepers. Even in stoppage time, when Dean Lewington's cross found George C. Williams, Simon Eastwood had it covered, and Oxford their first away point of the season.
Port Vale haven't lost at home this season, but went behind to Gillingham, who've won 2 of their last 3 away games. A well-worked short corner from Bradley Dack saw captain Josh Wright score only his second goal for the club, tapping in Cody McDonald's shot midway through the first half. Port Vale were almost 2 down when Dack pounced on a loose ball feeding through McDonald, but 20-year-old defender Nathan Smith showed he was deserving of his new 3-year contract by clearing off the line. Gillingham would be left to rue that opportunity. It woke the home side up. They enjoyed plenty of possession and finally made the breakthrough after 76 minutes. Jonathan Bond's reaction save fell to defender Remy Street, who smashed in his second of the season for the equaliser. And Bruno Ribeiro's side weren't finished there. 8 minutes later, top scorer Alex Jones struck low for his 5th goal in his last 4 league appearances to maintain Port Vale's 100% home record.
And that win sees Port Vale move up to 5th. Scunthorpe are now top of the table in what is their best start to a season for 59 years. Bolton's first defeat of this campaign means that they drop to 2nd, a point clear of Bury, Bradford and Port Vale. Sheffield United have moved into the playoff spots.
Here is the other end of the table. Winless Coventry are now bottom. Rochdale are a point better off. Shrewsbury and Bristol Rovers occupy the other 2 relegation spots. A couple of things to pick out there. First of all, Northampton's 31-match unbeaten run over. They play Manchester United, actually, midweek in the EFL Cup. Highlights on here on Channel 5. It's a record like that, actually, something sometimes just to get out of the way and, right, let's just start.
I think it can certainly affect your team sometimes. I mean, Brighton got on that run at the start of last season in the Championship, and I think that affected them when they got to near the records. Page has gone in there and done a good job. I like him. I played with him at Coventry. He's brought in some experience with Ravel up front. I think the Man United game was certainly on the players' minds today, but a lot of draws this season so far, but only a few points off the playoffs. He'll be happy with his start so far.
And Lee, your eyes widened when you saw the bottom of that table. How on earth have Coventry ended up there?
I can't believe that. You know, just listen to the interview with Tony Mowbray saying that they're not producing in that final third. You're not scoring goals. That's why you're down at the bottom of the league.
Well, they've lost Adam Armstrong,
which is a massive blow from. But to see Coventry down there, big season ahead for them.
I think Newcastle could have done with him today. OK, stay with us for all the League 2 action coming up next, including could Plymouth Argyle continue to banish the memory of last May's playoff defeat? The leaders faced a raucous Devon derby at Exeter today. Welcome back. This is Goal Rush on Football on 5, and in Sky Bet League 2, 5 wins on the bounce propelled Plymouth Argyle to the summit.
Yes, a buoyant Green Army was probably the last thing that struggling Exeter wanted to see on the South Devon Derby day. For their part, well, City side ex-Argyle favourite Ruben Reid, just before the game, here's how it unfolded at St James's Park.
The talk beforehand may have been about Exeter signing Reid, but it was Argyle's newest frontman, Paul Arnold-Garita, who took the headlines. He found Graham Curry to score his second in a week. Cameroon's Garita is on loan from Bristol City, and he doubled Plymouth's lead with his first goal in English football. Quite a way to make your bow in a Devon derby. He was later forced off with an injury. His replacement, Jake Jervis, tested the Exeter keeper, and again from the ensuing corner.
Exeter was stirring at a club record 4th home league defeat on the trot. Lee Holmes hit the post, but 6 wins from 8 is now Plymouth's best start to a season in 65 years.
What most pleased you about today?
I thought that, you know, having to come here, it's a hostile environment, and, you know, getting the lead early is important in a derby match, and the players believed in themselves after that, and you know, to go on 7 successive wins in this division and cup competition is very good.
A happy return for 5 former Accrington players among Pompey ranks rarely looked on the cards. They almost conceded an own goal through Christian Burgess just before half-time. And then early in the second half, the game turned on the type of goal dreams are made of. Paddy Lacey was making his league debut for Accrington, and out of nothing, he suddenly produced this. No wonder he looked happy. Portsmouth did their best to preserve a 4-game winning run, but this header by Michael Smith summed up a frustrating afternoon.
Third place Luton were favourites to beat a Crawley Town team down in 18th, but it was the hosts who struck first. James Collins' neat header beating Luton keeper Christian Walton. But Crawley didn't have it all their own way. Town stopper Glenn Morris was called upon to keep them ahead. Twice here he saved Dermot Drummy's side, first from John Mullins and then Alan Sheehan. But Crawley have a real match winner in Enzio Baldwin. His pace is a danger for any defence, and in stoppage time he wrapped up all 3 points with the hosts' second goal to give the Red Devils their first victory in 5 league games.
James Coppinger is a man for all seasons. 13 of them have been with Doncaster. This free kick marked his 501st appearance in a Rovers shirt. Struggling Newport offered little in response. Sean Riggs' effort was as close as they came. Andy Williams clinched victory for Rovers in the second half. Many people's tip for the title in August. Donny is starting to live up to that billing. This was their 6th win out of 7 matches.
4 wins from their last 6 league games had put Colchester in a good position in the League 2 table, and they went to Barnet and took the lead inside 6 minutes. Dre Wright found Tariq Fosu Hendrie, who made it 1-0. In the second half, the visitors nearly doubled their lead. Wright again was the creative influence. On this occasion, though, his terrific shot was well saved by Josh Vickers. But then inside the last 10 minutes, Barnet equalised. Curtis Weston did enough to see his shot ricochet in off the post to give Martin Allen's men a share of the points.
Crewe haven't lost to Grimsby since 2001 and could have taken the lead after half an hour. Defender Josh Gowling handled in the area, leaving the referee with no choice. Chris Dagnall stepped up to take the penalty, but James McEwen was up to the task and saved twice to keep Paul Hurst's side on level terms. Grimsby have scored in every league match so far this season and thought they'd taken the lead before the break, but Barnsley loanee Sean Tutton was flagged offside. Crewe have only won 1 of their last 16 matches away from home, but their hard work paid off and they got their reward just before half-time. A mistake from Luke Summerfield allowed a delighted George Cooper to slot home his 3rd of the season. Steve Davis' side then sealed the win 5 minutes from time. James Jones managing to squeeze the ball in from a tight angle, giving Crewe their 4th win of the season. Grimsby, though, have now lost 4 of their last 6 games at Blundell Park.
So bragging rights in Devon go to Plymouth Argyle, and that's 6 consecutive league wins now. What do you think of the job that Derek Adams is doing there?
Yeah, he did very, very well, and it was a disappointing performance, I think, in the playoff final against AFC Wimbledon. I think tactically Neil Ardley's side got it right. I think what he's done this season, he's got himself more of a squad together. I think last year they only had like 16 players to select from. I think he's making 4 or 5 changes in the last 5 games, so he's really trying to utilise his squad as much as possible. He's brought good Willian, good experience as well. And I just think that he's getting it right. He sets himself up against different opposition every single time, whereas before you'd like to see the same team play more often than not. But there it does, and he changes it quite often, and that always keeps the squad on their toes as well.
And Graham Carey with a goal today, the first one today. He's been instrumental for them last season. Looks like he's going to be the catalyst this season. His 4th goal in 8. Do you think he's too good for League 2, Lee?
I was actually thinking that today. You know, seeing him score. I mean, he scored a couple recently as well. He's on fire. He's coming in from that midfield slot, which again, you know, I mean, I look at the big man that scored a great goal, second goal. This is just
he looks
pure
a handful,
pace,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
pace and strength. But to have midfielders coming in and chipping in with goals, you know, Plymouth are absolutely going to love that.
It was important that he kept it on from last season as well. I think him and Kamar Roof of Oxford were the best two midfielders in that league, and Kamar's gone on to... And I can see Greg going on again after this season. He's an excellent player, and, you know, he certainly is too good for League Two for me, Carey.
Even more impressive how well they're doing when you think of the turnover of players. They've had 14 new recruits in the summer, a couple of loan signings as well to get them all to gel. I mean, they lost the first 2 games, but it's clicking now.
No, that's pivotal down to the manager. He selects the team and they want to play for him. And losing that playoff final game, it's the hardest game to lose in football. To bounce back like they've done so far this season, he'd be delighted with his start.
Right, let's catch up on the rest of the action. Notts County boss John Sheridan actually admitted he wanted to join in with the booing of his team after last week's defeat to Accrington. He didn't.
Yeah, one presumes that didn't form part of his team talk ahead of today's visit to Cheltenham.
It didn't take long for the smile to return to John Sheridan's face. 4 minutes, in fact. Carl Dickinson picked out striker Jonathan Fort, who took a lovely touch and an even better finish to score his second of the season and turn boos to cheers. Cheltenham, though, have only lost once at home this season and didn't take long to get back in the game. Harry Pell's pinpoint cross found the head of Danny Wright, who nodded in the equaliser. But Notts County were on a mission to please their manager and were back in front again just before half-time. John Stead continued his impressive start to the season. 3 Cheltenham defenders failed to stop him smashing past Russell Griffiths for his 5th of the campaign. 10 minutes after the restart and Cheltenham were back level again, though. This time provider turned scorer as Harry Pell controlled the ball from James Rowe's free kick and bagged his 3rd of the season. But almost straight from the kick-off, John Stead made sure the Notts County fans went home happy. Fort's tenacity allowed Stead in on goal, and he squeezed in the winner. That's his 6th in 8 league appearances, and the Magpies' 3rd away win in a row, something they've not done since 2014.
A goalless first half gave no indication of the drama that was in store after the break. Within minutes, Carlisle looked to be on their way to consolidating their unbeaten start to the season. Jabo Ibare's looping shot eventually fell kindly to Charlie Wyke, and he had his 2nd goal in 2 games. And the visitors were celebrating again soon after. Nicky Adams' expert free kick found its way to Michael Rains, and 3 points looked assured. Wrong, because Blackpool's response was immediate and significant. Carlisle's defence failed to clear the next attack despite various attempts, and Armand Nanulet's precise header teed up Kyle Vassell to reduce the arrears. And the Frenchman wasn't finished. He's a man in form. He'd scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, and that became 3 and 3 as he brushed aside Rains for the equaliser, causing Carlisle to think what might have been.
Without a win, this is Cambridge's worst ever start to a season in the Football League. But they were ahead when Piero Mingoya profited from some calamitous Morecambe defending to score his 3rd of this campaign. 4 straight wins in August had earned Morecambe's Jim Bentley Manager of the Month, but they've lost 3 on the bounce since then. They had the chance to go level when Luke Berry clipped Jack Dunn, and Dunn picked himself up to equalise for the Shrimps. And just 2 minutes later, Dunn was involved again, this time sending Paul Mullin clear to score his 1st league goal since January. Cambridge's abysmal start continues, but it's a 3rd away win on the trot for Bentley's side.
Leyton Orients have had a tricky time on their own turf this season, but Yeovil arrived off the back of 5 successive league defeats. Liam Kelly let them off the hook at the end of a flowing move from the home side, and the O's frustration began to grow. Unlocked all too easily by a second-half short corner, with Tom Eaves heading Yeovil into a lead they'd only need to protect for the final 14 minutes. Substitute Jay Simpson was at the forefront of the attempt to rescue Orient from a 3rd home defeat in 4 league games. But during all this tidy footwork, Kevin Dawson dropped back onto the goal line. His clearance and the sheer weight of numbers saw Yeovil safely through to the finish.
just one win in their last 15 league games, Wycombe have taken to asking their fans to help raise transfer funds for January. They were ahead just before half-time when Dale Southwell, who'd arrived on a free, scored his first Football League goal. But Wycombe have been leaky at the back, conceding 10 in their last 3 matches. Not helped by Michael Harriman's back pass. Tyler Walker shot wide. Wycombe have their second league win.
As Mansfield hadn't kept a clean sheet on their travels in their last 12 away trips in the league, Hartlepool possibly fancied they could manage a goal or two. But Josh Laurent couldn't make a good chance count in the first half, and there was no joy either in the second, when Nathan Thomas's driving run deserved a better finish from Billy Painter. Hartlepool are still waiting for their first home win, and Mansfield were satisfied with the points.
That result sees Mansfield move up to 9th. Plymouth stay top of the table and have now had their best start to a season for 65 years. Doncaster are up to 2nd, a point clear of Crewe and Morecambe. Portsmouth and Colchester are a point further back, and Luton complete the top 7.
Here's the other end of the table. Cambridge still without a win. They stay bottom of the EFL. Exeter are 3 points better off, and it's only goal difference keeping Newport out of the drop zone. Lee, we mentioned earlier you got sent off today. Our viewers might be scratching their heads thinking, I didn't realise Lee Hendrie still played. Who are you playing for?
I'm playing for a team in like the lowest of lowest leagues, Midland Coms 3, Montpellier AFC. My pal just set a team up. Got a lot of young lads.
So not the Montpellier in the French league?
I wish it was, yeah. No, we're in the lowest league possible, to be honest. But it's good, you know, there's a lot of young lads. I'm just trying to pass on a bit of experience. But
why are you doing it?
I still enjoy it. I still love playing. I'm still fit enough to do it. You know, I was always told that, you know, play as long as you can. You know, I'm not there for anything but just to keep myself ticking over, pass on a bit of experience, which today I didn't really show the young lads much.
Are you banned now, then?
I'm banned for one game now, but, you know, it's good. I've really enjoyed it, and it's great to still be involved in football.
Fair play to you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. That's it from us tonight. Thanks to Lee and Adam, of course. Join us again on Wednesday for all the action from round 3 of the EFL Cup. We've got 16 ties, including Northampton Town versus Manchester United. A busy week ahead.
Yeah, I'll be with you for that. We'll leave you tonight with the key goals on a day when unbeaten records were tarnished and winless runs came to an end. Good night.